Well, what's going on, everybody? It's the Leo King, and today I had to go off-road. I had to go way out in the middle of nowhere to really process what's going on right now in the universe. It's been a little crazy. Really crazy, so I thought I would come out to the middle of nowhere and give you guys a little, deeper uncut than usual. It's a day late, but let's see what I find out here. So yeah, there's a lot going on, right? I have enough light in here. There's freaking flies kicking the shit out of me out there. I'm gonna go off-road to a different spot. There's a creek I found like a mile down the road. It's probably the best place for us to go. I'm bringing back my horoscope to the roots right now. I think the reason why is because I didn't even announce it, but June 19th was the 3-year anniversary of the Leo King, the character. And many of you found me as the Leo King, but before the Leo King, there was this root of who I was and how I did the horoscopes. I used to go out in nature and go in the middle of nowhere, the redwoods, the beach, and do horoscopes. And right now, there's been such a very weird shift in the last week. So I was like, I'm going to go back to my roots because I don't know how else to basically connect to spirit right now. I've been trying, ways that I have been lately, and they just haven't been connecting the same. I think I've been, doing all right on the horoscopes, but I thought I would go back to the original roots, see where spirit brought me, and this is where it brought me today. So let's go find this creek, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Let's go find this spot. We'll see how well this thing stays. Probably not going to stay that great. I should have had a super mount on this bitch. But at least I want to show you all. We're really off-roading here to get your uncut this week. This is no joke. This is really going down. Woo! I lost the camera. Hold on here. Oh, we need you tight, baby. We need you tight. I don't want you going nowhere. If you're gonna be my girlfriend for the night, I want you locked in tight, baby. There we are. There's no way this thing's gonna stay. At least I got in a little bit. I will talk to you when I get to the river. Like down in a van by the river, although we're in a Ford truck. What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and I go deep behind the veil and I give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of June the 22nd through the 28th of 2016. And let me tell you, everybody, what a crazy week has it been after this full moon and all this stuff that's gone on in our lives with Mercury. I mean, it's been like, woo, crazy neurotic change. My big change was the Leo King event got changed to September 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's what it's looking like. I had to push it out. More people needed time. I needed to change my rates to make it more easier for people to come. And you know what? This conference is going to be exactly when Jupiter comes into Libra. And there's something about the universe. I don't know what it is, God. Why do you want me to do every conference on Jupiter entering a new sign? The last big Sedona conference I did was Jupiter entering into Leo, which was exactly when Jupiter entered 0 Leo. And here is this conference is exactly when Jupiter enters 0 Libra. So there's something about Jupiter and conferences with me. I don't know what it is. And I'm a 0 Leo, so it's weird. It's always Jupiter and positive aspects to my sun. And I always do it right after Mars retrograde. And this is going to be when Mars is out of its stationary position and out of its shadow period. And you know what's so funny? That's always when I do things. Anyway, I will have the ticket stuff up available, leokingevents.com with new prices and so forth. And I got to confirm the dates by tomorrow, so just give it a couple days here, but we are doing this conference still. Now, if you want to watch me every day, the Leo King app, it's on iPhone and Android. Just download it, pay $5.99 a month, and you got me every day with 23 horoscopes a week. Videos like this, including your own sun sign, and text messages to your phone. And a lot of cool features. Right now, we're rebuilding the Android app. We're rebuilding the iPhone app for a whole new platform, live streaming and everything. Anyway, now the reason why I'm out here in nature, and by the way, I am getting my ass. I'm a city boy, you know? I live by the beach and stuff. I'm not used to all these flies and stuff and ticks and all that stuff. But, you know, I do have my trusty Sprite on call. So I have some sort of pleasure while I'm still out in the middle of nature. But the reason why I'm out in the middle of nature for this one, literally I had to four-wheel drive my truck, which I'm sure you'll see at the intro to this video, to get here. Then I had to hike to get here. I'm not somebody who's been hiking lately and doing a lot of this stuff. I've been really caught up in so many other things, distractions. You know, that's Saturn square Neptune. You're building things and there's sandcastles here, and then they fall apart, and you go build another sandcastle, and it falls apart, and you're running back to go fix the other sandcastle, and it's sandcastle building as the waves come in. That is Saturn square Neptune. That is what we are in right now. And with Jupiter finally coming out of this space, I think we've learned a lot about how to navigate. I'm going to put this thing down. I look like I'm calling the bulls and stuff. But, you know, I feel like I have been distracted in so many other ways, and I have so many things on my plate. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing this Uncut because it's been such a crazy time, and a lot of people, I don't know what it was about this full moon. Well, I do know. I mean, I called that this was going to be a huge transitional point, and a big mental thing over the last couple of weeks with this Mercury transit in Gemini. But, you know, it has been wow factor. Now we come into this week with Mars stopped. Mars is literally retrograding. This is the last week of Mars retrograde in Scorpio. And this can mean, when you look at your life, especially as we have the sun in Cancer, right? There's a lot of water energy flowing right now. There's a lot of emotions coming up. But with Mars, there's this like passion, there's this depth, there's these warts we're cutting. And we're getting to the bottom of them. And you know, we're actually starting to realize, holy shit, I can really overcome some of these fears that I've had in my life. I can really overcome these things that I don't want anymore. I can really overcome and come into the things I want in my life and desire. But you know, I have to make those cuts. I have to face it. I have to face the beast. And we have been facing the beast for the last 2.5, 3 months as Mars has been retrograde. And this is the last week. So this is going to be your last confrontation with deep fears as Mars is turning. You can go look up at Mars at the sky and watch. You'll see Saturn. You'll see Antares, the other star, right? Antares, Saturn. And then you'll see Mars to the right, okay, at night. When you look up in the horizon line, you can see where Mars retrograded right where those two stars were, okay? One Saturn, one is Antares. And you could see that's the area that we retrograded in. And it's interesting, every night I've been looking at it. And I've been really looking at how there's a warrior in all of us. Whether you're male or female, you know, Xena warrior princess all the way to Conan, or not Conan, or Conan, or whatever his name was. I don't know. But you know, Conan the Barbarian, yeah, right? There's this part of us that is being reborn with our courage, with our strength. And there is the rise of the phoenix that Mars represents. Because before Pluto was even found, the whole reason there was a phoenix was Mars in Scorpio. And this is a part of ourselves that we are truly finding that. Now, with the sun in Cancer, there's all these emotions coming up, and we're having to confront all of the emotional stuff. It's like no matter what you're dealing with right now, it's like emotions. And they might not be easy because this is a Mars cutting in Scorpio in the dark part of our... So this is clearing the deepest, healing the deepest shitty emotional stuff. And, you know, we can look at this as a negative thing, but I look at this as extremely positive. If you look at this week's astrology, we got the North Node and Jupiter conjunct. And this is the last like kind of major week of this, all while it's trining Pluto. This is a time to completely clear every deck you have. A relationship deck, work deck, your residential deck. Every deck in your life that you have, Jupiter is clearing it and cleaning it. Swiffer style. It's in Virgo. It's like Swiffer time, right? Pluto's in Capricorn. It's looking at what are the blocks that are getting us from getting where we need to go, especially as Mars, right, is in Scorpio. This is another, sign about getting where you want to go. There's a lot of energy about how to get where we want to go. We're in a cardinal sign of the sun right now. This is a time with Sun and Venus following each other in Cancer, rebuilding our emotions in a time of extreme clearings, extreme let goes. And so this is going to be a moment in your life when you realize that you made the great turn. And that's why I've been talking about this for the last couple weeks on how, trust me, this is a major turn in everybody's life. This is a major moment for us all, because when September does come and the eclipses do come in Virgo, and as Jupiter moves into Libra, and as we come into this whole new thing at the end of this summer or winter, wherever you're at, we are completely in new adventures, as where Saturn is in Sagittarius, it's Jupiter ruled, and Jupiter and Saturn will start to get along and start to move these things much more forward. And so this is a time where you have to not be frustrated how things are going, because this is the clearing time. And in order to clear things, you need to be able to clean them and be whole and not be caught up in delusions, not be caught up in things that just are not healthy for you anymore, and really let them go. Mars retrogrades suck ass, especially if you're a man or you're somebody who likes to move forward a lot. But they really do turn the ship. And because sometimes we get off course. And it's interesting, here I am way on a whole different course right now. But you know what? I am glad that I came out here into deep nature to do this Uncut, to really clear everything away so I can deliver you all this message, because I believe this message is different than any message I've been delivering lately. I had to go back to my roots. This is how I started my channel. It wasn't on a green screen. It wasn't on TV. It wasn't on a television show. It wasn't on a talk show. It was on a laptop, me under a tree. And in many ways, here I am back in my roots. And in many ways, you this week are back to your deepest root, where you will turn around. You will face your roots. You will see who you really are. You will see your greatest fear. You will see your greatest passion. And you will get ready as Venus trines over to Neptune by the end of this week. There is this beautiful vision of what you can really start to manifest. There is relationships that come in this week that feel like they are more divinely guided, as you are clearing a lot of old ones and moving into more of the ones that have always or are spiritually aligned with who you really are. So what a powerful week. Jupiter-Pluto is showing stability in Earth, but it's showing clearing. While Mars is at the last bit where literally we can no longer scrape the bottom of the barrel. This is the bottom of the barrel left. Not until when Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio, which I think happens in 2018. So, or it's like some part of 17. I have to do the exact math, but I'm doing this as best as I can out here without a chart in front of me. But yeah, that'll be the last Venus retrograde major transit in Scorpio, and then we have Jupiter, which comes in 2018. So, it's interesting to see that this Scorpio world, though, of fear and so many things that we have gone through for the last 3 years is coming to a place where you can really start to feel relieved. This is a time of actually feeling relieved. Now, you might feel stuck. You might feel like, God, I'm here. I want to go move and do all these things. But you know what? This is a time to find comfort in your clearing. This is a time to find comfort in you seeing a broad vision of what you wanted and what your desires are. And just looking and finding those desires, seeing the imagination of where life can go right now. This is a time of extreme pondering of where you are going to go. Where is this beautiful new road taking you? And how awesome is it and how exciting is it that you don't have that shitty fear behind you, eating your back. Now, I have flies all around me right now, but there's a part of me that's not letting those flies affect this transmission. we have been dealing with flies, and actually we'll use something scarier. I just watched Cloverfield, right? And then I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane. I watched both. And I had never seen them. And it was weird in Cloverfield. You know, the alien comes and then all these little other aliens come off. Like, we have been dealing with all these little aliens over big aliens. It's almost like we have big fears, and then they splinter into small fears and screw us up in all these little different directions. And, you know, I think we were always trying to hold on to relationships and people and situations that would help us through it, but they really weren't going to get us through to this point, to where we really want to go. You got to, this is a time of burial. Mars at the last degree of Scorpio's retrograde here, 23 degrees here, is a burial in your head. It's a burial in your mind. It's a burial of your souls, ending with all these things that you have been through, and to let these people and bury these people emotionally and move on to new, more higher waters. This is also a week where Uranus comes to 24 degrees, where it's going to stationary. So we are ascending to the highest part that we can ascend this year. We cannot ascend any higher. Uranus rules ascension. And Uranus is at 24 degrees this week, and it's going to start stopping at 24 degrees. So for this next month and a half here, this is the highest to ascend, baby, as we are also at the most bottom sacral level, clearing. Very unique to ascend high, clear, and use this very rare Jupiter-Pluto North Node, South Node, sextile, trine, awesome power to see it's time to clear the decks, it's time to move forward, and you can go in any direction. Saturn's been squaring Neptune. You know, Jupiter's come off it. Jupiter's ready to give us some sort of fortune. It's ready for us to expand. Saturn's in Sagittarius, where the lesson is expand. This is a time for us to truly do it. This is a time for us to truly be ready. You watch on the 29th when Mars comes direct, it is go time. But this week, clear the decks, clear the shit, face the last dragon, face the last thing so you can rise up. And it could feel right before the phoenix rises like you will not rise up. It could feel like right before, you're gonna die. But the truth is that you are not. You are going to be full of life. You are going to rise up, and you are going to show the world, and you are going to, more importantly, show yourself that you have so many desires, that you have so many dreams, that you have so many things that you want to go for. And that's what this big quarter square of the moon in, or 3/4 square of the moon in Aries is going to be, is like, hey, you have these deep emotions, you have these, comfort zones, and you have these wants and your needs. And you know what? It's time for your emotions to really make room for what you want. It's time for your ego to really have to realize it's got emotions that it's got to work with. So this is a time where our wants, our needs, our desires, especially because we do have Mars getting ready to come direct. We do have a big 3/4 square of the moon in Aries. It's all about desire, identity. This is all about how we can emotionally do it. This is all about final endings and purging the last thing and facing the last fears, because you watch after this moment forward, this is literally, there's already, as I'm talking to you, some sort of energy starting to be relieved as Mercury's come off of the crazy cross. The moon came off of its fullness with it. It was in 4 days of a full moon, I call it, a 4-day full moon, I've been telling people. Even though scientifically that's impossible, astrologically it's possible. This is a moment where we breathe. We get our last chance. It's like, I can't use this. Let's use this, This is Mars retrograde at the last degree, all right? It's the last stand, and you gotta push out that fear. I gotta fly in my mouth. But literally, this is your last moment here. Wham, wham! There's nowhere to go. Look, I'm in this creek, and I'm stuck at the bottom of the thing, and the only way out is to, fuck you, fear. I'm through with you. I'm done with you. And I'm moving through this shit. And once you get that out of your way, and all these things are clear, and you don't have that shitty relationship that you don't want anymore, you don't have all this crap that you were so afraid of, and you're ready to leap forward by this time next week, you're going to thank God. You're going to thank God that this last 3 months happened, as you are about to embark on the adventure of your life. I'm so sorry. That is so That is so rude. But I'm eating flies over here, giving you guys the freaking uncut. But, you know, that's the whole deal. That's what this is all about. I don't think people realize... Sorry, I'm not wearing a microphone today, by the way. I forgot the clip. But nobody realizes the world is about to go through the most exciting adventure ever we've all been waiting for. And I know you can feel it on the other half of all this. When you look behind those spheres, lies treasure. And you know what? Scorpio rules buried treasure. And Scorpio is undoing the treasure. And this is us finding that when we face our fears, when we get through things, you know, it's like the Count of Monte Cristo, one of my favorite movies, by the way, when he literally has to go through the whole jail situation and get out of jail and use the way to get out and knows the map from the guy he talked to, and then he fucking gets to the mountain and then to that cove and then he dives deep underneath and he has to find the treasure and bring it all up. And you know what? When he finally gets that treasure, he can finally become the Count of Monte Cristo and go fuck over his best friend who stole him, his wife, and all that crap. Not saying that this is a time of revenge, although, if I were to be very honest with people, this is a time for people will be trying to use this energy for revenge. Mars going direct is revengeful, and especially in Scorpio. Especially with the Sun in Cancer over the past. But I don't think people who watch this channel are using this for revenge. This is a time for you to use this for winning towards the place and to the dreams and getting through the fears that have been blocking your treasure. And that this is the week where it is all being removed. It is all being faced. You are having to make your last hoo-yah at it. And you're really ready to go into this beautiful new place. I mean, I know this is a longer than normal deal. We end the week with Chiron going retrograde, Mercury squaring it. And I want to say this. There will be a feeling like you might not understand how things happened. You might not be able to understand why we went through the shit that we went through. Why don't you just write it off like we write off on our taxes? Like, I don't know what happened. I took a loss and I'm going to write it off and move forward. Don't attach your fears to not knowing where things are at, if that makes sense, in when it comes to the things that have happened in our lives. You know, Chiron retrograding now and stationary this week is bringing up mass healing. This is the last moment, people. Mars is trining Chiron as it happens. Mercury is squaring it. Like, this is the massive last healing moment before we can move forward. And we need this strength because September is gnarly, okay? It is world shaking. If you think the world's been crazy right now, it's just been our mind that has been processing it crazy. We haven't seen the physical craziness yet. That's what's coming. And we have to all be ready and emotionally, and, you know, we've got to have, you know, our strength in our core. So when we're back, we're ready to fight it and deal with it and live in it. You know what I mean? You know, my Lancelot's coming back now, you know? I had to come back out. You know, I did a past life regression and I ended up exactly in a place like this. And I ended like 25 years in a cottage in the middle of nowhere. And this is where I learned astrology, not in this space, but out in the middle of nowhere. That's why my South Node's in Sagittarius, by the way. And I learned a lot of my astrology from Merlin, who was not alive, who used to come through as a guide and taught me. Talk about crazy spiritual lessons of how to learn astrology. I never took a book course or never went to an astrology class. But, you know, some people might think I'm delusional and crazy, but that's it. I'm going to end this with a prayer. I think I went way over, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care because you know what? This is that important of a week. This is a week that just blows people's minds with the about a healing and the about a facing and to get your rockets ready, you know? So let's do the prayer now. I ask all the guides from all the ancestors that created this universe, more than just this earth, but this universe that we are all in right now, that are consciously aware, are feeling at this moment, to come into this moment and bring us protection. As we face these last karmic, deep, and emotional fears that have been blocking our treasure and our love and our light, so we can move forward into more love, so we can move forward into more light, so we can move forward into more happiness. I ask for God to come here this week and to give us that extra bit of hope, that extra bit of strength, to know that things are going to divinely work out, and that I ask for Spirit to bring nothing but the most utmost love, protection, and more importantly, softness around this harsh and intense final barrier to break deep inside. I ask you, God, for really good bug repellent. If you're caught out in the woods this week, like me, I probably look like a crazy man, God, right now as I'm praying to you. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And more importantly, I pray for you, God, to protect everybody who watches this video in the world, and know that this world is not crazy. There is nothing wrong with this world. There is nothing but beauty and greatness in this world, and I'm going to fall. But there is nothing but beauty and greatness in this world, and that to help people remind them of that, even when they think that there are dire straits and things are crazy, and they're really not. This place is perfect. And this place is a library of information and light. You know, I was just in Vegas when I was doing the conference and finishing up like the details of it. And I met this beautiful girl, and we went out and we walked around Vegas, and I told her, you know, we went down this really weird like alleyway. And I looked over, and you just don't notice little things, right? Like, if you look around this reality, it is just full of so much detail. You could just, like, just today, I could just sit and look at all of these rocks and underneath them, and it would just blow my mind at how much we could find. But every day we just fly through it. You know, there's Mercury and Gemini. Like, there is so much more to this world than the news that we get caught up in. To, you know, even though I am doing a gossip show every day, every week. But I do that to help people wake up to the astrology. And some people don't like that show, but I love it. It's something I love to do. But there is so much here. And this is ascension healing. Things are coming faster than lightning, and let the things in. Mars, retrograde, I'm going to finish with this. This is the last message Spirits wants. Let things in. Yes, it's a good time to push things out. But as you're pushing things out, let things in too. Don't be afraid of the people that come into your life right now. Don't be afraid of the things that are trying to come in as you are at this final moment of purge. You know, this is divine partnership coming. This is what we were waiting for with a lot of the partnership stuff, because Jupiter, Pluto, trine on the nodes, while Venus is nice trining Neptune. This is very powerful. And this is also having with a quincunx over to Saturn. That we're getting ready for as well in opening up some very deep karmic old school doors. Anyways, I love you all. I hope to see you at my Hope in the Desert, September 9th through the 11th now. And I'll have all that information up by Thursday. Give me till Thursday, and I have a lot of things. I'm going to be changing the prices. Let's make it happen. You could do 1 day. You could do 3 day. I'm going to take a risk. I might lose all my money on this one. I mean, I could choose to cancel this event and not do it, but everybody told me they want to come. And if I make it really easily available, why don't we have hundreds, hopefully 1,000 of us all get together and literally come together for 3 days and have the best time of our lives and talk astrology and all ascend together. So I love you. Thank you so much for watching this report. Get me on the app. Thanks for subscribing on YouTube. And remember, I give away a free reading on the back of my notes. This week I'm going to have to create notes. But by the way, I'm like 2 weeks behind, but I already sent out the first person and the second person. And then I just got to pick a couple people because I was gone. But I do it. So if you share this video, you get the opportunity for a free reading. Thanks so much on my Facebook. You got to go to David Lawrence Palmer and then share it. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I don't know what else to say. I think I got the message out. Later. This is actually a little behind the scenes. There are so many effing flies out here. But for a city boy to get into nature and do a horoscope, you got to do it. Literally, I'm in a creek bed. Let's do a little... like literally. Of course, I have my delicious Sprite on call. Sprite, you gotta sponsor me already, you know? Jeez. But I was called to this creek bed, and I think what's so interesting about this creek bed is I don't think it's seen water in years. At one time, water used to run through it, and now it doesn't. And I got all the way out here. I mean, I literally hiked. My truck literally went 15 miles down dirt roads and off-road trails to get here. And I get all the way out here and I don't have service and I don't have the astrology. I didn't check it. I think the only thing I have, well, that was so funny. It said, goal, you have reached your active energy for the day. But I don't have the chart, but I think I have an ephemeris in my phone from back that I always keep, like a PDF file. And I'm going to have to go off that, so this will probably be at the end of the video, a little behind the scenes of how I did this today.